We are live. My name is Zane Stevens. I am the founder of Protea Financial. And here we are, episode 12 of season 2. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. This is the second last one for this season. I'll then be taking a break in July. I have 2 trips planned with my family, one with an extended amount of family, and then one just with the 4 of us heading over to the East Coast to do some fun things. So, not going to burden myself with jumping on live, trying to fit it in, the editing and everything that goes around it. I'm just going to focus on my family, recharge, refresh, and make sure I'm ready for you. We're going to do the final episode in the focus on small businesses and how to help you as a small business owner get the most out of your bookkeeper. We've spoken in general about some of the things that you need to give to your bookkeeper to help them. We touched on some of the core items like, tell them when you're invoicing, telling people, tell them what the terms are, let them know that you have to pay people, help them by giving them the information so they can help you manage their cash flow. We then went into the reminder that a bookkeeper really wants you to be successful. If you're successful, they have a job, which means they can be successful. They are a part of the partnership. Now, what I want to do today is sort of pull that all together, and I've jotted down some tips and some advice on things that you can do as a business owner to make your bookkeeper's life easier. These are things that you can do so they can help you better. The title in this is Help Me Help You, and there's some ways that we can possibly do that. And a lot of it is truly just behavioral. How do we interact with our bookkeeper to make sure that they're able to interact in a positive way with you? That's a positive experience. They can do their job. They can get you that information timely to allow you to make business decisions. At the end of the day, this is a relationship. It needs to be a good, positive relationship so that there is some success. So, what you really want to do is focus in on making sure that you are helping this bookkeeper help you. Make sure that it is a beneficial relationship to both parties, because a beneficial, positive relationship will give you better results. So, let's jump into it. Um, One of the main things that I think you can always do for a big bookkeeper is understanding that there is a difference between your personal life and your business life. And if you can understand that concept, that business and pleasure should not be mixed, hence you should not be spending business dollars on personal or your personal dollars on business, it can make everything a lot easier. If you separate those costs from each other, you effectively make it a lot easier for the books to be reconciled quickly and accurately. It creates less confusion and gives you a clearer picture. This will help you right now in making decisions, and at some point in the future, it will really make a big difference if you're trying to sell a business, because anybody wanting to purchase that business does not want to include your personal expenses. I think then if you go into that, and this sort of rolls into each other a little bit, is try stay away from inconsistent record keeping. Try be consistent in the way that you provide information to your accountant. And if you're doing any sort of the processing yourself, which can be the case, you're trying to keep costs down, make sure that you're doing it consistently. I've spoken about this before, but a really good bookkeeper is a consistent bookkeeper. And if you expect them to be consistent, you need to be consistent as well. So pay that vendor the same way every month. Use that credit card for the same purchases every month. Submit your documentation to them in the same way every month. We roll into number 3. One very important portion is don't ever get delayed in submitting your information. You can't expect your bookkeeper to be on time if you're not providing them with the information that they need on a timely basis. So make sure that you are getting that information to them timelessly. Number 4 sort of encompasses all of those. And this is really, really important. Do not ignore your bookkeeper. I promise you, your bookkeeper is not reaching out unless they really need to. Accountants generally want to limit communication because it creates less confusion. So if they are asking you for something, make sure that you're responding to the requests on a timely basis. Making sure that you do that is going to improve the communication, and make sure that you have a good relationship. They know what they need from you, you would get from these. So it sort of covers everything on, get the documentation, stay consistent, and let's have good communication. When your bookkeeper does send you information, I think it's really important to make sure you're actually looking at it as well. So if I'm doing a bunch of work, I'm hoping that somebody's actually using it, because the quickest way for any service level to drop is if that person thinks that you don't care about it. So if you're setting goals to get financial information at a certain point in time, the person who is busting out that work, putting in the effort, putting in the long hours, wants to know that their work is appreciated and is actually being used. So them submitting information to you should not just be a check mark or like, great, you've done your job. It should be because you want that information to make really good decisions. And this is where the next topic comes in, which is, set expectations. Make sure that you are communicating to your bookkeeper what you expect from them, when you expect it, and how you believe that they can help you. That will always really help them move the process forward. Make sure that you're on the same page about scope, and make sure that you're on the same page about compensation, and make sure that you're on the same page about deliverables. Always also mention in there that you don't want to forget about timing. It's important, it's easy to say, hey, I need all this information, but if you don't give them a deadline, you can't be upset if they don't meet the deadline. So with most things in life, setting a deadline is going to be important. With this all in mind, though, one of the worst things that you can do for a bookkeeper is micromanage them. If you set these expectations and you have these deadlines, you need to try and trust that the person will reach their goals. Trust them to handle the financial responsibility you give them, and give them the opportunity to do their job with a bit of autonomy. Constantly questioning and interfering will hinder their productivity and most likely their morale. People don't want to feel like they're not trusted. Obviously, if there's an issue, deal with it. But if they're getting their job done, they're delivering timelessly, they're delivering consistently, they're answering your questions, there's really no need to micromanage. There's no need for you to control all that process. It is frustrating for the person who has the expertise. And on the other side, honestly, you have better things to do with your time. You should be running your business, not micromanaging a team member that's getting their job done. Two of the others are, topics that sort of things that you should do. One, let's not, forget that we need to sort of follow the rules. Disregarding compliance or regulations can be tough. I've definitely run into the situation in my career before where, the rules are there to be broken and you're not breaking the rules unless you get caught. Probably not a good way to go. There's a lot of bookkeepers that will just quit their job straight away. And if you have one or two people quit on you, you're eventually going to get a bit of a reputation and people won't work with you. So stay informed about the relevant financial regulations, understand what's real, make sure you understand what's going on in the tax laws, and have a trusted advisor that can help you through that. If there are any other regulations around your business, like business licenses, compliance license, we're in the alcohol beverage space, so making sure you have your ABC licenses and any other alcohol beverage license, get that done. Neglecting compliance could lead to a bad situation. Your bookkeeper can help you stay involved, but make sure that you believe that you need to stay involved. Follow the rules, set the example. it does help a lot. If somebody feels like you're doing the right thing, they definitely want to help you out more. And the last thing to think about is really investing in technology. There's a lot of people out there that, grew up maybe using paper for their accounting records. Probably not the best tool right now. There are great accounting tools out there. We love, QuickBooks, specifically QuickBooks Online. And then we try and link as many of our tools and software as possible to lower the time we have to spend, create efficiencies, improve accuracy, and allow us to get that work out as quick as possible. So avoid under investing in appropriate accounting software and technology. Um, Outdated software can hinder efficiency and productivity. So if you want to get the best out of them, invest a little bit of money. Spend a little bit of money up front, save money on the back end. That's generally the thought process that you should have when it comes into the accounting side. So this presentation discussion, me going live, it's probably got a little bit of a negative oversight, because really what I wanted to focus on today is more on like things that you should not be doing. You can help your bookkeeper out so they can help you out to get you that information on time to help you make better decisions. But there are these things that you should try stay away from. Their actions or behaviors that can negatively affect the relationship and the ability for your bookkeeper to get their job done. So let's summarize. Let's stay away from micromanaging. You need to trust the person to get their job done. Don't overmanage unless they're not getting their job done. If they're consistently doing their job, let them do it. Stay away from inconsistent record keeping. Do things consistently. You expect consistency from them, be consistent yourself. Number 3, don't delay, submitting your documentation to your bookkeeper. If you want them to meet a deadline and complete things on time, you need to make sure that you're getting that information to them. This is part of, this setting expectations. Try stay away from mixing personal and business finances together. It makes it really difficult to give you good financial statements if there's a bunch of personal stuff popping up, or if you're spending money on a personal account and forgetting to tell us about it. Keep those separate. It will make the reconciliation easier and quicker. Do not, focus in on your communication. Don't have inadequate communication. Communicate with open and effectively. Make sure that they know what you're thinking. Respond promptly. Get to their queries, answer the questions. Make sure there's a dialogue around all the information that's providing. If you're asking for financials, the next thing on this list, number 6, don't neglect reviewing your financials. Nobody likes being asked to do something and then getting ignored. So if you want financials, if you want information, look at it, ask the questions, and move on. If your bookkeeper, number 7 in this is if there's some recommendations from your bookkeeper, like, hey, I think we've been doing XYZ, or I see we're buying it, we've moved on to buying at store B where store A was cheaper. Like, take those under consideration. At least acknowledge them. Don't ignore your bookkeeper's recommendations. Have a conversation about them. Number 8, it rolls into the communication side, but don't set unrealistic expectations. Work with your bookkeeper to understand timing on when you need information and understand how much they can do in a day and what your input on meeting those deadlines will look like. Number 9, don't disregard compliance and regulations. Do the right thing, follow the rules. It'll make for a much more positive relationship and allow your bookkeeper to get their job done without having to worry about the consequences of what they're doing for you. And number 10, and maybe one of the most important, if you want to save money, if you want your bookkeeping to be efficient, productive, and on time, do not underinvest in technology. Spend the money up front. It will save you money on the back end, and it'll also save you a lot of frustration. As a bookkeeper, we want to help you. So try not do these things. You'll be helping us help, which in the end will help you out. I really hope this series on sort of different ideas and options that you can sort of take in as a business owner that would help your bookkeeper get the most out of what they're doing. Remember, you're hiring an accountant because you see it as important. You understand that there is certain tasks that need to be done, not just from a compliance standpoint, but also from a standpoint of identifying trends in your business, seeing your cash flow, seeing how your business is doing from a profitability standpoint, understanding what's going on your balance sheet. They need you to help them get you that information so you can make good business decisions. And when I say you or your trusted advisors, you might have a CFO, you might have a banker, whoever it is, but help your bookkeeper, give them the minimum information, understand that they're there to help you out. They're trying to collaborate. They want you to be successful, and stay away from some of these touch points that might leave you in a situation where the relationship with your bookkeeper is not great. One more episode coming to you next week. It might be a little different to what it is. I'll keep it a secret for then, but I've really enjoyed this episode. My research and my notes and putting some work in before this episode really was interesting for me. I hope it is helpful for you as a small business. Hopefully for a bookkeeper, you'll appreciate what I've been saying as well. And if there are any things that I missed, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will share part of this presentation on LinkedIn as well. So if you've got additional thoughts, maybe add them there as well. I just want to help. And hopefully this can help your relationship with your bookkeeper improve so they can be consistent, so they can be accurate, they can be efficient, they can get you the information when you need it, so you can make decisions so your business can be successful. I hope you have a wonderful day further. Bye.